All right, everyone, welcome back. Cyberpunk Holiday. This is Splatter, issue number 2 by North Star. I had never heard of this comic book until I ran into it the other day and picked it up for $2. It was Tim Vigil who made me pick it up because I do like his art. I love Tim Vigil. I like watching him draw. Actually, you can find it online on his channel. This is a November 1991 issue number 2. The table of contents, they're all short stories in here, and they're all actually really a lot of fun. Except for maybe this one that Vigil drew, because it's just kind of very straightforward, and we'll get into that. It's called Torture is Too Kind. And the art here, while I did recognize it was Tim Vigil, I kind of felt like it was a little bit different than his usual MO. Like if you go and look at Faust, it just looks a little bit more polished. There's just something about this here that just looks a little bit more polished in Faust than it does here in the Splatter issue. It's still definitely Vigil, just different. And I'm not sure what it is. I mean, maybe it's the inking. I don't remember if Vigil does his own inking in Faust. I should have checked right now. It's Tim Tyler. But basically this guy, Ravage, these guys kill this chick. They give her a drug called Trauma, which I'm guessing everyone was a fan of Trauma movies. That's why the drug is named after it. And so Ravage, he's got, his edgy, chainsaw hand, very Evil Dead. Lots of violence. It's so good for the violence in this issue because I think any cartoonist who can show their chops on violence and using it in an effective way kind of shows their skills as a cartoonist. This is the part of the story where it explains what's going on. Trauma is the ultimate man-made drug. It's 98% more addictive than crack. Trauma immediately attacks the brain's electric impulses, scrambling them beyond any repair. The drug's high is its withdrawal. The victim's only cure is his or her death. So these guys gave her the drug Trauma and she died. It doesn't really seem like an effective drug that would sell a bunch if the consumer is dying because of it. Which makes this story a little goofy. But Vigil's art is on point here. Again, the use of intestines, blood, violence. I always like the way he draws his faces. I feel like the lines are way too thick here, though, on the inking. And maybe that's what it is that's drawing me away from seeing this as his best work. Because it just feels hacky, maybe a little bit. The inking does. But anyways, Ravage is trying to get to the source and figure out what's going on with this. Why they're doing this drug and putting it out. And he's basically like your typical action hero. Like a B-movie action hero going and destroying the drugs. But in the end, because these all have a twist ending, the explosion here causes him to get hit with the last dose of Trauma. And the victim's only cures his death. Well, Ravage, today's a good day to die. Next issue, Mama says I'm crazy. So I assume that he survives and now he's just affected by the trauma. Vigil's use of bubbles here and his cartooning for fire and just the way bodies look. It's so much fun. Even his paneling is on point. The blood coming out of the bodies. This is the next story. It's called I Eat, I Munch Myself. This is probably my favorite story in the issue. Specifically for the fact that the somewhat pointless black and white story concerning a big fat guy with an insatiable appetite. And the cartooning here is just fucking amazing. This guy is essentially just eating his way through his dinner, which is this huge table full of food. And then he just decides to start eating himself once he's run out of food. 10 minutes later. Gluttony. This is by Dave Cooper. 1989. So this was 2 years before the issue even came out. I'm wondering if he just drew this and he's like, hey, I got this and let's just throw this short story I did in there. But the little splatter and skin effects right here, the flesh, just looks so rad. I can't get over it. The salting of the finger. Move this light here. The cartooning of his belly. That's kind of nice. And it just goes hog wild. This dude just essentially eats himself. The intestines are here. The internal organs just sticking out of his arm. Eating his foot, his chest. Because he's getting fatter at the same time he's eating himself. And he's loving it. It's just this, so good, morbid cartoon. It's only 3 pages. And there's the end where he's just like essentially fallen out of his chair from eating himself. It's amazing. I absolutely love this story. This was the highlight of the comic book issue for me, stabbing himself in the cheek with the fork. The pulling of flesh like this, it kind of reminds me of the movie Society. If anyone's ever seen that, the horror movie, they'll know what I'm talking about, the shunting here. I actually have a video on the Comic Book Society sequel. That's an amazing little 3-page. Like, if I could own the original art to this, I would put it on my wall and show it to everyone. I'd put it in the dining room. Because, I'm so rich. But the third story, A Gift from Clowny. And basically, I think it was Ed Gein. No, not Ed Gein. Man, what was the clown's name? The one that dressed up as a clown, the serial killer. I forget his name. Well, I'm sure everyone knows. I'm just not remembering it. Essentially, that's what's going on here. He knew many fun games to play. And then there's just this rabid thing that comes out of him, kind of like an alien, but not a chest burster. In this case, it's a mouth burster. Because he knows that they're coming for him, basically. But he's a child killer. It's a pretty grim, dark story. And that's basically it. It's just 3 pages. Now he would return and show them magic and wonders undreamed of before. The colors would be like marvels from a fairy tale, and their play would know only happy storybook endings. I dig it, but it's just basically like he's incubating a monster. I guess that's the allegory for it, or the metaphor. The deeper meaning. This is the last story of the issue, Spat, right? Oh, that's what it's called. Yeah, Spat. This is, like, all these stories are on fire. To be honest, I kind of like all of them. I wouldn't say a single one let me down. Maybe Clowney was just okay. But this one right here, this is script Charles Marshall, pencils and inks, Corey Barber, and John Ramirez. This old couple gets into a fight, basically a spat, and they just it just keeps escalating. He cuts her in the face. You sorry bastard, you cut me. That's right, I cut you. Now get me some more juice. Coming right up, dear. And where's my fried spam? I haven't got all day. And she just dumps it on his face. Or on his back, I should say. Why did you burn me, bitch? I'm sorry, sweetheart. I didn't mean to burn you. I meant to kill you. And she misses. He shoves her face in the pot. Or the bowl. Breaks the glass. Stabs him. You've done it now, Monica. You've really done it now. Goes and gets a gun. She gets a flamethrower. You must be cold walking around in your underwear like that. Here, I'll be a good wife and turn the heat up for you. Turn around, Ralph, so I can toast the other side. Help! Help! He's on fire. Where'd she get a flamethrower from anyway? Probably borrowed it from Johnny Ray's. Is she sleeping with him? Damn, this is getting embarrassing. Put some Bactine on. Wait a minute, what's this? I forgot I left this here. Pulls out a rocket launcher. Oh, Monica, where are you? I've got a present for you. She comes rolling up in a tank. Well, he's got a rocket launcher. I will say he kind of receives more of the brunt here. And as he goes to the shed, he finds a hydrogen bomb. Okay, Ralph, I'm going to blow you to kingdom come. Your eyes. I had forgotten how beautiful they are, Monica. Oh, Ralph. You always know the right thing to say. I'm sorry, Monica. I was a fool to let this get out of hand. I'm sorry, too. Let's go back in. And without thinking about it, he throws the grenade back in where the hydrogen bomb is. Clunk. Or clink. Uh-oh. And it explodes. If two people love each other, there can be no happy end to it. Ernest Hemingway. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's so much fun. Just this couple just keeps escalating over nothing. They get into this argument. A knife slash. Breakfast poured on him. His shoves her face into the cereal. A gun, a flamethrower, a rocket launcher, a tank, a hydrogen bomb. It's so much fun. When I had no idea what Splatter was about, and as I read through this, it just got wackier and zanier, and I absolutely loved it. I actually wish there was more comic books like this today. Cool little ad here for Leatherface #3 by North Star. I don't know if these are good, but I looked online to see how much they are. Some of them are cheap, some of them aren't. I might put them on the channel. I have some of the Leatherface issues from it's not IDW. It's something that came later in the 2000s. This was the 90s. Kelly Jones's portfolio. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's Splatter. Issue number 1 or issue number 2. Amazing issue. If you've never read this before, I'm sure some of the other issues have probably cool stuff in them. I would highly recommend going and getting this and reading it for yourself. It's an amazing comic book. Some great cartooning here. If you want to look more into Tim Vigil kind of doing stuff himself, I would recommend Faust. This is kind of more of his, where his art I think is more effective than it was here in Splatter. It's a very adult book, so go in being warned about that. Obviously, both of these are kind of a mature reader books. I would say more so Faust because it shows actual like crazy amounts of nudity and like sick shit, and Splatter not so much as far as I can tell, at least in this issue. So yeah, go check those out. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe. I just want to give a quick update on the channel. I'm trying so hard to find time to work on this huge video I got. I actually had started one and then realized someone else kind of already did the same thing on YouTube, and that they probably did it more effectively than I would have. They had more time to research and everything, so I was like, well, I'll just do something else. So I had to scrap that after I was about a fourth through it, and then I had to think about doing something else. And the something else I have, but I just want to, find something that's new for people to consume that would be fun and that wouldn't, be boring to hear me make a long video about. So I'm working on that. It's coming. It's probably going to take, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks. But until then, I'll try to keep the channel going with stuff like this, and it should be fun. But yeah, just like, share, subscribe. Let me know that this is a lot of fun for all of us, and that I'm not wasting my time here while I work on my own comic books. And so thanks everyone for watching, and have a good day. Good night.